Hi. Whew. This is Denise. Welcome to my home. Now, I got to tell you that my aim, my goal, is different than what I'm going to wind up being able to do here today. And I hope that it's okay with you to just go through this stuff. And I have to do some more organizing before I can start beading. I just have to. I've gotten so many different things at so many different times that I need to be able to put it together and have everything, in their appointed places, or I won't function. I just won't. So I spent the day at Katie's house helping her. She has spring break, and so does Peyton. And Peyton stayed home today. She didn't want to go. And I get it. Her age is, it kind of precludes her from doing stuff like this. So I am absolutely overwhelmed. And this is just with the big beads. The little beads are in my room, or not in my room, but in the craft room. I wanted to show you a couple of things that I did do. I haven't finished them yet. This will be a set of 3. I have to get the tie-offs right and the make sure they're not going to come apart when somebody's wearing them. They're not threaded on the right stuff. But I was able to put it together. And I've got to figure out how to do this end piece. And I kind of have hangy strings. But it kind of gives you an idea of the patterns. And this will be one set, and they're graduated. I haven't made the earrings yet, but I will. And it's not going to look like this. It's not going to have hanging pieces of thread and stuff. But I did something a little different with this one, and I thought it kind of turned out pretty. And I had to do it this way because it's a continuous strand. The beads aren't beaded onto one strand. They're kind of melded together on a strand. And I've got to figure out how to do the end. But I did the kind of crocheting around the beads as I went, the knot. And it turned out kind of pretty. And of course, I've got to fix it. It's not the way it needs to be. But it will be. So there is this one. This one. And the pattern was every 5 and then every 10. Every 5 and every 10. And then this one was 5s and then 10s towards the middle of the front where I put the bigger beads. So they would hang this way. And then this one. What do you think? And they would go together. It's kind of hard to see how they would go. I don't have any, well, I do, but it's over there. I have one of those display things. I don't know how it would do with long strands. But that they would hang together. And I will make earrings that match. And then this one, I think this is a bracelet. It's not, it doesn't match this. It has 3 strands also. Uh-oh. Well, it did. Now it just has 2 and then a bunch of beads. They came apart. See, that's what I need to figure out how to do this stuff. I think aesthetically they look nice, but they're not staying together like I want them to. And then the other one was just the barrel beads, white and the brown. So I have done a little bit. And of course I'm going to do more. I just need you to bear with me. I know several of you have asked about doing beading. And I mean, that's why I got the beads. I really want to. What I did, now I have several more containers coming. I'm going to put these over here. These containers are really, really good for beads. There are 5 of them to a pack, and they were $3 and something for a pack of 5. And I was able to take and separate out, for instance, when I got the sunflower beads, there were several different colors, and I separated them out to where I have, well, these are the dark beads. I have a bunch to put in here. But I have the sunflowers and the yellow beads together. And these. And then there are the beige ones. Those weren't for the sunflowers, though. And I separated out the balls, just the round ones. These I went ahead and kept together. I don't even remember what I've got in here now. There are some charms. Black beads. These I didn't separate, and I need to. Once I have the order that I need, life will be much easier for me. I don't do chaos very well. I mean, I can do it, but I prefer not to. I would prefer not to spend all my time looking for stuff, you know? So that'll work. And they fit really well in just these shoebox things. I've got a whole slew of them. I spent quite a bit of time the other day doing the beads that Peyton had, and then more of the beads that I have. There's more gray ones. These are all letters. And the white. I think once that, for me, when it's visible and I can see what I'm doing, these are more square of the letters. I went through each and every bead, you guys. And here are clamps. And this is what I need to use on the ends so that they won't come apart. And there's a whole slew of them in here too. So what I'd like to do, you know, if this is something that doesn't interest you at all, I get it. And, you know, you don't have to stick with me through this. But barrel beads, barrel and round. And I will take and separate them out. It sounds like fun, huh? What have you guys done today, guys? What have you, all of you people, done today? I know one of my friends had a chance to see his sister after, gosh, I think he said it was 5 years that he hadn't seen her. Maybe it was longer than that. But they had a whole week. She came in last Tuesday and she left today. So I know that that's a mixed bag. I'm sure they had a great time. And coming to that point of saying until next time is kind of tough. I'd love to see my brother, and I know I eventually will. He died when he was 15, so he had just gone through puberty. He was over 6 feet tall when he died. And it's funny, you know, our bodies, they continue to do what they're supposed to do until they just can't anymore. He grew and grew while he was sick. This was in 1964, and they didn't have diagnostic tools at that time. They did a surgery, exploratory surgery, and the cancer, they knew it started in his liver. I guess by the way the cancer had grown, they could tell that. And we found out in June, and he died in October. So once they open up a healthy young body, it grows pretty fast. There were so many things that I wanted to say to him, and I would have loved to have seen what he became. And you know, I would never wish him back because I know that he's where he needs to be, and he's got so much. He's got the Lord. He's got that absolute knowledge that eventually we'll get too. But when he died, it was kind of like losing a body part, you know? And those of you that have gone through that kind of a loss understand. And at that time, a lot of my relatives still did the kids are to be seen and not be heard, and there wasn't any support for a child grieving. And granted, you know, as a parent, I can't begin to understand. I've lost a child, but it wasn't that way. I hadn't had a chance to know him or her. My baby was a girl, is a girl, still is. Her name was Sarah Megan. But I didn't have a chance to know her like my parents knew my brother. And I can't help but think that there must have been so much guilt. We were such a dysfunctional home. And, you know, when you get a diagnosis like that, what do? I'm sorry. Well, the I'm sorry's don't change the outcome. And I know my mom was tormented. She lived until she was 54. And I have to believe, even though I'm not sure of my mom's state, I wasn't saved when she died, so I wasn't looking for the marks of salvation, and I certainly can't judge her. Bless her heart. So, anyway, I didn't know I was going to get off on this. I didn't know. But that's who I am. That's my life. And I can't tell you how it feels to be able to share it. You all have given me a freedom that is so beyond anything that I can explain. You listen and you hear me. And those of you that don't, you can turn it off and not listen. And it doesn't affect me one way or the other. You know, I feel like I have an audience of people that care. And I don't mean to call you an audience like a woohoo audience, but I have people that are here that care and love me, and many of you can identify with the feelings that I have, and maybe what I share can help someone else. I certainly hope so. That's my goal, is to make a difference. That's been the whole goal of this channel. I want to make a difference. Oh goodness, what are these? Well, these are earring things, but it's got beads in it too. Honestly, I just am so disorganized. Oh, wait a minute. There are these kind. Here are the barrel ones. Here are the round ones. This is a new box. I have a full box down here. And you know, I bought a whole bunch of these and I swiped them. I didn't haul them yet, but I've swiped them. I just find myself unable to not get into stuff. I'll show you one and tell you there were 5. So you'll be able to see one new. You'll forgive me though, right? I remember the kind of support my brother was to me. And even while he was sick, they chose not to talk to him about it. They chose not to tell him that he was dying. And that still hurts, you know, the idea that he went through that alone. He wasn't alone, but he went through the fears and because he knew. He knew. And I know he knew because he told me. The things that happen in dysfunction are secrets. And how sad, right? How sad. That was a really weird time in history. President Kennedy had been assassinated, and I don't remember when Martin Luther King was assassinated. I don't remember whether that was before Chuck died or not. But I remember the day that President Kennedy was assassinated. I ran to meet him on the bus when he came home from school, and I was devastated. And he acted like he didn't know. And it was, I remember watching every bit of TV that I could about what was happening. It made no sense to me. I didn't understand how someone could do something like that. Still don't. And then, you know, as time went on, as I became an adult, then there were people that would say, well, it was a conspiracy and stuff like that. And I didn't understand that either. Like, what do you mean it was a conspiracy? What do you mean? You know, I was jaded that day. I questioned all the things that I had never questioned before. I was young, but not that young. I was born in 51, so I was 13 when my brother died. I was 13 when Kennedy died. I was 11. Do you all remember where you were and what you were doing at that time? I'm sure you do. When I heard about Kennedy, I was in junior high school and I was in home economics. I was baking biscuits. How do you tell? If I'm not mistaken, it was announced over the intercom, which wasn't necessarily the right way to do it, but I don't remember anybody coming in the room and telling us. That was at the time that the Cold War was happening, and, you know, people were terrified that we were not under any kind of government and what would happen. So we got to hear adults be really free with their vocalizing their fear. And we just kind of got to hang in there and not understand. There was, well, you know, the flower power type movement really started in the 50s, or maybe even the 40s. Was it the 40s that beatniks were popular? Or when that was the culture of the young was beatniks. They kind of were counterculture too, if I'm not mistaken, more of an artistic type, but definitely counterculture. And maybe, you know, questioning what adults did. And then, of course, with the hippie movement, anything that an adult did was wrong. I remember looking at people, and you remember when they said, when, you know, if you're 30, you're old? Oh my. And in my mind, I thought, I'm not going to live past 30. I won't make it to 30. And of course I did. I lived in a place called Saratoga, California. It was in the Bay Area, the Southern Bay Area. We were, I think, about 40 miles from San Francisco, maybe 40. I don't remember exactly. It wasn't very long. It didn't take very long to get there. It was already a town that did things differently than other towns. I loved going there, though. I loved going on the cable cars or the trolleys. Trolley car. The cable cars they were the buses that had the line, and the trolley cars were like, kind of like little British buses, but not, you know, but they were really cool, and you got to sit on the outside and Chinatown and seeing the differences in people's lives. The last time I went to San Francisco, I want to make sure I'm telling you the truth. Well, the last time I went to San Francisco was after my daughter was born, Amanda. But when Chuck was sick, there was a neighbor across the street, and she kind of swept me up and took me to San Francisco with her. And there is a Episcopal, I want to say cathedral. It was huge. I don't know if they call it a cathedral, but it was majestic. It was just absolutely incredible. I got to go in there. Of course, we went to Fisherman's Wharf and got to see Alcatraz Island. Didn't go over there, but got to hear the stories. I remember there was an old man, and he probably wasn't that old, but he seemed old to me. And he was a child. Well, let's see, 1906 was the earthquake. And he was old enough to know what was going on. So maybe he was born in 1900, I don't know, or before. But he was telling me about the earthquake, going through that and what that was like. And it was just, you know, the story time was just incredible. It was, I felt so cared for and so nurtured that day. These are brown ones, and I'm going to separate the brown ones out of here too. I kind of separated out everything except the little ones and left the little ones all mixed up. But that's fine. I can get to them. And the white ones. It's funny how different things will stick with you over the years. And these little random acts of kindness that people performed. If the person would understand how much it meant to me to have the kindness spent on a child, that it lasts a lifetime. It doesn't go away. So when you see a youngster that's hurting, you know, reach out to them. I think that kids are reacted to differently now than they used to be, but it doesn't mean that they understand what's going on. Their emotions are immature and they feel fear and no real understanding. How could you? You know, how could you understand? My brother was born before I was. He was 2.5 years older than I. So all my memories, everything, and who I was and who I was becoming was tied up with my brother. And because we lived in abuse, it was even more profound because we were lifeboat buddies. You know, this kid that would get hurt by my father, physically hurt. I tell him I hate him, and he said, no, don't hate him, he's sick. He's sick, Denise. To have that kind of understanding is pretty incredible. My brother was so smart. He had a vocabulary that would absolutely, it was incredible. And he would tease me. He would say big words and I didn't know what they were, and I thought for sure he was saying bad words to me. And then he would laugh at me and wouldn't tell me what it was. But he wasn't. He wouldn't say anything bad to me. He was a sophomore. He finished his sophomore year before they did the exploratory surgery. It was in June that they did it. And before that, he was taking college courses as a sophomore. Very, very bright. Very compassionate. And I was impetuous. I wasn't the favored grandchild by any means. My brother was. And that's all right. I mean, you know, it just was what it was. But everybody in the family was so devastated by his loss. I remember people saying, what are they going to do? He's all that they have. Talking about my parents. And I was sitting in the back seat, you know, and you think, well, am I hamburger? What am I? Left me questioning a lot during my lifetime. It's pretty amazing what a child will form around. You know, we form around what we hear, what you tell us, what I was told, and what a child hears is what they believe because they have no other form of reference. And everything that they are and become is formed around their self-beliefs. And unless a child, and even so, even if a child has the Lord in their lives, it still is a child will walk with a limp forever based on what they're told when they're young, and whether they're celebrated or whether they're hurt. When I was raising my kids, I did the best I could. I wasn't the world's best mom, but I certainly wasn't the world's worst. One of the things that I determined when my kids were little is I would never call them bad. I was really careful to separate the deed from the child. And that, you know, nobody taught me that. It's just what it seemed right that what they did wasn't who they were. And I had great kids anyway, so they've had their crosses to bear through their lives. But there were some things that I did right, and that was one of them. The enemy was on their heels all the way through their young lives, and with some of my kids, it's still an issue. There was damage. And we still make our own choices, you know. We make our choices. No matter how crippled situations can make you, they don't render you without choice. I see that these are things that our kids aren't being taught now. They're just not being taught. The choices that they're encouraged to make have nothing to do with what's right. It has to do with what feels good. And I'm not saying that as a kid that didn't sound good to me. It did. But our society was a different place then. And the social norm, even though I think there were a lot of secrets, you know, and there were a lot of people that went through things that nobody knew about, the social norm was the right thing, you know, to do the right thing. Where now, it's very different than that. Have I bored you silly yet? I've almost got this thing of beads separated. And then guess what? I have a whole other bag of them. I don't know what all I'm going to do today. I just wanted to get on here and make sure I had a chance to say hi and let you know how much you mean to me. I have 4 beautiful grandchildren of Katie's. I have 26 grandchildren. I see Katie's pretty often. And for that, I'm so grateful. They're wonderful little kids. And they go to a Christian school where their mama teaches. And they learn that, you know, the norms that we used to have. And for that, I'm really grateful. They have their issues. They're not perfect kids. And they will have their issues as they grow up, but they're growing up with a firm foundation. And that's good. Very, very good. Maddie got braces on yesterday on her top teeth. They're going to wait for a while to do the bottom ones because they need to readjust her jaw first. Her jaw, she's so crowded now that there's no room for her adult teeth to come in. So they're going to push these out, and then when they put braces on, they may have to pull. Katie's really concerned about that, and I get it. But gosh, if they can do anything to help rearrange, what's going on, that's really a blessing. What is your first memory? Do you remember? Well, yeah, your first memory, do you remember? That's kind of silly. What is the first memory that you have? Sometimes I'm not sure if it's bolstered by a picture that I saw of myself or whether it's actual memory, but I think it was when I was about 2. I had a little bonnet on, and I got stung by a bee. That was my first memory. Yeah, I just go ahead and keep the little ones in here. And look, there's a whole nother bag. If you guys can tolerate me, I'm game to continue. Let's see here. These are the same as these, so I'm going to mix them together. When I have everything where I need it, then I can pull the beads that I want and the size that I want and be able to be more organized with what I do. I want to know what I have. And, you know, sometimes you get halfway through with something and think, oh, well, I needed to do this or I needed to do that. And lo and behold, this and that aren't there, you know. I don't remember where I put it, or I don't know. So I'm hoping that by being a little more mindful of what I'm doing here, that it'll make a difference. Oh, here's some white ones. Put these in there. They're not really white, they're kind of cream colored. But these are the big ones from the bag. Oh, nuts. I keep wanting to open these upside down. There we go. Okay, these are little clamp ends that you can, I have the pliers to do this. You stick them, the threads through there and clamp them down. And then they have the ring at the end. So you can put your clasp on there. I intend to get on YouTube and to look up each thing that I have and make sure that I'm doing it right before I do it. Barrel beads. And an empty container. Yay! I'm going to be home tomorrow. I'm going to make another attempt at a Habitat Shop With Me. Now that I know how to mute my phone, and I know to check it to make sure that it's recording. I still can't believe I did that. It still worked out okay. We had a nice show and tell. See how well they fit in here? And I can see everything that I have. And that makes it nice. Let's see here. I know I have you know, I had that whole handful of trash and the can's right there, and I dropped it, and every single one went on the floor. Nothing made the trash. I'm so good at that. And those are the things that I made. Okay, here's more charms. Here are the letters. Actually, they fit up and down. I can get more in there. So I'm going to put them up and down this way. Well, you can't see. What is that woman trying to show me? Instead of laying them down, I'm going to put them up. And I'll have less tubs. I'm so excited when I'm going to get these orders hauled as soon as I can. I've ordered storage containers for the dolls, and I can get the dolls out of that bedroom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And it'll give me so much more room to organize what I need to do. Now, wait a second. Do I have... I should have more than this. Oh no. That's what the deal is. I've got to get this stuff in some kind of order. I'm so confused. And then, not only do I have these, oh, you know, I took and spent a couple of hours separating out red beads. They're still not done. But I think that I can just use them the way they are. Here's a container of, these are end pieces that go on the beads. I hauled that not too long ago. Let's see if I have, some of these. I found more of these. There's cylinder barrel beads, and then there are barrel beads that are tapered. And they all have the tribal stuff on them. It's pretty amazing. Hold on a second. I'm going to see if I can't just lower this a bit. Now you're crooked. Okay. Remember, I put these things together too. And there's all kinds of sequins and sparkles and beads in here too. Let's see what's in this one. Oh yeah, I can separate some of this stuff. These are beads that I had in the closet. And there's some with letters. I know I can put those in with the other letters. And then there are barrel beads that are just really pretty. They're different. They're glass instead of... Oh. I want to show you. Don't go away. I don't have a whole bunch of them, but what I do have is beautiful. Honest. I don't know if they're wrapped or hand painted or what, but there are several of them, and there are lots of different patterns. My granddaughter used a whole bunch of them on a necklace for me. And I'll treasure that. I won't take it apart. So that's that. And then, what's in here? Oof. I have a lot of beads, you guys. Cool. I have a lot of special type beads in here. I have enough to make a whole world full of pretties. And that's going to happen. I know you're saying, that's what you keep saying. And I will. What I'm going to end up doing, and I was going to do that today, but I decided no, I'm just going to bring it all in here and try to get some order in it first. I was just going to take a bunch of stuff and bring it in here. And I just think that it's a wiser thought to find more order in what I have. Let's see, these are all up in there. So this is us. This is what I'm doing. And I'm grateful. Very grateful that you're here. Listening to my stories. And I get to be here with you. I realize that this isn't exactly what we're going to do. Well, I didn't know what we were going to do. I didn't know. I think what I'm going to do, I need another container. I have more over here, but I have more of these. And I have more coming. And I'm sure I'll use every one of them. This is the box that has like specialty stuff in it that I just showed you. And I'm going to put my specialty beads in here in this box. There are even some that look just like these. I wonder where they came, how it is that, I don't know, they're the same. That's pretty weird. So that will fill this container. And when I want something, a specialty bead, I'll know where they are. They'll all be together. I can start doing something else. That's this container. I'm scorched, guys. Okay. These are called jump rings. And they're the ring that you put like on the charm, between the charm and the bracelet. And you can attach something on either side of it. Or on your necklaces or your earrings. They all use jump rings. And there's a lot of them in here, and there are lots of different sizes. I've got more tweezers. These are jump rings and lobster claw clasps. And these are more of my glass beads. They're not glass, that's not right. They're stone. They're red turquoise. They're 8mm. And these will be beautiful. I'm going to combine them both in one container so I can get rid of the other one. See if I can. Hi, Mama. She got in the craft room and I had to dig around to find her and pull her out against her will. I don't want them in the craft room at all, ever again. There's just too much stuff they can get into. And I can't find them. And I know cats can live a long time without being seen. I just have to put food and water in a cat box in there and you'd be a happy character, wouldn't you? We're not going to do that. Okay, so I'm compacting in there. And then there are these. I wasn't going to use this for the stone beads, but I think I will. I do have more also somewhere. So this is the stone beads. Threading. This is like fish line. I bought a bunch of that stuff, you know, to thread with, but it's all elastic. and I don't like it. This is a bracelet I got at Habitat, and I really like it. I like the beads, the difference in the beads. Now they're tarnished. I'm not sure whether it's because they're cheap or whether they're really tarnished. But in either case, I can paint them. Well, if they're tarnished, I can clean them. If they're silver, I don't know. I kind of have a hunch they're not real. But I do like them a lot. And they're on wire. So it makes a really nice bracelet. I'll let you know as we go what they're going to look like. If I wind up painting them, if they won't clean up for me, then I'll paint them, and I'll probably do a bronze color. I could take them all off of here too, but I don't think I'm going to. I like the look a lot. Now I thought that I had like duplicate stuff that I could put together. I'm not finding it. I still have another thing of these beads to put in here. I'm not sure that I want to do that. They might wind up all over the floor. I guess we'll see. I think I'm being told not to. I'll just store them together. I don't think I want to pick up stuff off the floor. And these are the earrings. That one. Okay. I have ear wires in here, and I have ear wires in here. What else is in here? Oh, I got all kinds of goodies in here. Oh, man. I think these are jump rings, too. I'm not sure. Are they individual? They are. So I have more jump rings. And I think these came with the earrings, that they were designed for the earrings. And what is this? Oh, these are some of the things that I had. So I've got the multicolor jump rings here. They can go with the other ones that I have. And then the silver and gold. Which are there. I'm going to put them in a baggie along with the silver and gold hoops. They're not hoops. They're ear wires. So they are contained. Yay! I'm going to need to get more of these containers. And these are, oh, I should put these with them too. These are the little plastic backs. I don't use them because I can't get them on and off. They go on the ear wires. But I can sure do that when I sell them. I don't personally use them. This is the dress that I hauled yesterday, by the way. It's awfully pretty. I love it. It's long sleeve. I'm going to turn you off for just a second. I'm going to go get those containers. Hi. That didn't take too long. Of course, when I stood up, I had to do some other stuff too, since I was already standing. Okay. I see we're already at an hour. Are you sorely disappointed in this? And are you ready to go? Are any of you still watching? If you are, God bless you. I'm just so impressed. I won't keep you too much longer. I did get a couple more of these containers. There's another package of them. So I think what I'm going to do is put all the charms in one. Maybe. These are the stone beads. Oh, I thought I put all the jump rings together. Did I not? I'm going to put them in here right now because that's where these guys are. Oh, this is an interesting thing. I looked it up on the internet. I got this in a container at a rummage sale, and it's old. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm thinking it might be a little snuff box. It has a latch on the side here that you open. I haven't found anything that looks like it. What does it say on the back here? I never even noticed that it had any writing on it. It's made in Mexico. It says alpaca, Mexico. How cool is that? It's got mother of pearl and it's just beautiful. See how it shines? I won't be giving this up. It's one of those things that you hold on to. This is a pair of Temu earrings that broke. I'm going to fix them. So, what I'm going to put in this container these end pieces for the beads. I got several things of them. There's some here, they're gold. I did something with the others. I thought I had everything out here. I don't. I've got it somewhere. That magic place somewhere that when we find it, there's going to be all kinds of stuff in there. I got a bunch of them. But for now, this is what we're doing. So this will go in here. And I hesitate to dump the charms. I know I'm getting more too, but these are the silver ones, aren't they? Yeah, I showed you these yesterday or the day before. I don't know, my days get kind of crumbled up together. And these are multicolor, but it's like silver and rose gold. These are prettier than the other multicolored ones that I got. There's a charm that was in Peyton's stuff. How did I do that? I know that... Are these the ones that I showed you? I kind of don't think so. But maybe they are. I didn't remember them being rose gold. I remember them being gold. I don't dislike them as much now. I have all kinds of miscellaneous stuff in here still. Once I get off camera, I'll be doing more too. I feel like I've just really held you captive. Of course, the cell door is open. Okay. So these are in here. These are my charms. I consolidated down to 2 of these boxes now. I brought out a whole bunch. Oh, this is a bracelet that broke. There's a Temu bracelet. And I thought the beads on it were kind of pretty, so I'm going to keep them until I can use them. And here are those clasps, so the end pieces for the clasps. And there's 2 packages of these beads. I know I have more of these beads. The real pretty ones that are filigree and have the rhinestones. Well, here's another package right here. This is multicolor. I must have hauled these at another time because they weren't with yesterday's haul. These are really pretty too. All different colors. So I'll put these in a box. And when I find the other ones, I have a bag in here that needs to be taken in my room, I'm sure, from what I hauled yesterday. Was it yesterday? Monday? Honestly, I'm lost. And that's where the other stuff is, I'm sure. And I'll get those and put them away. And I will separate these out. I won't subject you to that. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting me and for loving me. I realize that I can be pretty scattered. And I hope my stories aren't something that are getting old. But it's my life, you know, and I'm wanting to share it. If you've enjoyed the content and you'd like to subscribe, I would like to invite you to. We do lots of different things here. It isn't all just a crazy lady talking. And you say, what crazy lady? It's this one. Well, God bless you all. And I love you. And until next time.